Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Dr. Sahara Omar. I am a licensed marriage and family therapist practicing here in the state of Texas. And today's video, I wanted to talk about how everything is a choice and the concept of a choice. It's continuation also of the work that we're doing in this channel, where we are healing and trying to arrive at what we call wholeness as human beings, okay? So when we consider the concept of choice, we first have to recognize everything is literally a choice, from what we do to what we think, and how we feel in every situation that we're in is literally we are making the choice to engage with those activities and engage with those thoughts and emotions, okay? So since everything is a choice, then we need to understand what type of choices exist within that concept, right? So we have first category, which is called the conscious choices. Conscious choices are decisions that we're making that is within awareness, intention, and often involves careful consideration of our consequences. Awareness just means, am I noticing what I'm thinking about, what I'm feeling, and where I'm at? Intentions means what is that thing that's driving us to make that choice, like what's the purpose behind our choice? And then the consequences is, do I know what's going to happen after I make that choice? Am I going to be okay? Are people around me going to be okay? And then the other category, this is the unconscious choice. If you ask me, I would say 90% of the population falls in the unconscious choice. Unconscious choices happen without much active thoughts, like we're not thinking at all. And typically it's driven by habits. It's just because the same thing that we do or the same thing that our parents did, right? And then instinct, which is that survival piece, right? Like we share instinct with animals as well. So it's that thing that drives us to keep going as human beings, so that way we're not gonna end our life essentially, right? So that instinct, since we share with animals, what differentiates us from animals is our thoughts, right? Like the fact that we have consciousness and we can think through things, and hopefully we can make better decisions, okay? So those are the two main categories. When I meet my clients in therapy, they find themselves stuck in loops and cycles with people that are dysfunctional for them. And they also themselves make those choices to remain in those cycles with people as well, because they are gaining from something from that cycle. They're benefiting somehow, right? But nevertheless, we are making the choice to participate with it, right? So then you might ask, well, how do we help people move from the unconscious choice to the conscious choice? The trick, so there's two ways that I see this happen, right? So one is literally we need to learn how to pause. When we pause, reality becomes clear to us a little bit more, because in the unconscious place, right, like you are in most likely like that fantasy, survival instinct, fight, flight, freeze, fawn response, right? Like you're just doing things just to get and meet, right? And meet. So when we are pausing, we are slowing down, right? Like we are thinking through things, right? And I want to give you guys an example. So let's say somebody invites you out to hang out, right? So something simple as that. You can pause and take a moment, a couple of minutes to an hour, and think about what would happen if you hung out, right? Like if I hung out with this person, how late are they gonna be? Do I have the energy to be out that late? Am I working tomorrow? If I stayed out that late, would that impact my day tomorrow, right? That alone is consciously making a choice and thinking through all of your options before you make the decision. And also, I always recommend to all of my clients and to everyone, take your time. Pausing does not have to just be a specific time frame. You can always take your time. You can tell people, let me reflect on this, or let me think about it. I'll get back with you, right? Let me think about it. I'll get back with you. There's ways that you can also respect people's time to let them know, like, I need some time to think about this before you can make that final decision for yourself, okay? So pausing is the key, and also take your time as you are making that decision, okay? The unconscious, the other way that I see the unconscious being pushed into the consciousness, it's the most, to me, if you ask me, it is so difficult to process for myself as well, and it's experience. Experiences are the fastest way that moves people from unconscious to the conscious place, which is allow people to experience the pain of reality of their choices, right? Like, so letting them hit rock bottom. And in therapy, sometimes I see this difficulty with some of my clients where I would share a question, or I challenge them to think from a different perspective, and it just doesn't stick because there is no experience that's going to force them to come to reality. And sometimes this is where they will come to a cross path with therapy, where they feel like, okay, I think I got enough from therapy and I want to take a break. And they take a break, and then they have a major experiences, right? Whether it's like a couple of months or even a year later, and then that's when they come back and they're like, oh my God, when you said this, it wasn't a joke, like you were serious. And I would say, yep, it was serious. So that's the other part too that we have to be okay with as humans, that some people's brain only learns through experience at times. And it depends on the season, it depends on the experience itself that's going to force them to come to consciousness. But the challenge is with these decisions that we're making, hopefully it doesn't ruin our life completely as well too. Okay, so to avoid that painful experience of hitting rock bottom, just so you can recognize what you're doing is wrong or right, learn how to just pause, learn how to think through things, learn how to take your time, move slow, and eventually you will make better choices. So your life experiences in general, or your life experience overall, will not be ending in traumatic or tragic ways. Okay, so this is a skill in itself, meaning those of you who are parents, I encourage you to teach this to your children at age 3, starting around that 3, 4, 5. They already know that everything is a choice that they're making. Instead of just giving them the answer of I said so, teach them to think through critically why they are making these decisions and what would happen if they make this decision, what would be that final consequence. Parents that teach this to their children, when they grow up, they make better decisions, better choices for themselves because the skill is built in them. Parents that do not, and those of us that weren't blessed, unfortunately, typically experience is going to be the thing that forces us to realize, oh my God, I've been hurting myself and other people in the process, right? So I always recommend also just be kind to people around you. And for yourself, if you're noticing just because you survived a lot of difficulties and a lot of adversities, your ego needs to die in itself too. Meaning, don't let pride, don't let your ego get in the way of the decisions that you're making, because sometimes that alone can fool you into making unconscious decision and you end up losing the path that you were meant to be on in life, okay? So that's what I recommend overall, is just keep pausing, keep thinking, keep slowing down. You're not obligated to make decisions right away towards people as well, okay? I hope you guys liked the video. Please hit the thumbs up, subscribe, feel free to leave a comment as well. And also feel free to share this with people that you care. Thank you.